Emotional versus logic trading. Undisclosed secrets to success. My name is the Beach Trader, and I want to teach you guys how to live a freedom lifestyle. The psychology of trading. Number one, we're going to identify your trading emotions. Number two, we're going to talk about negative emotions. Number three is the negative emotion of greed. We're going to go over that, and then we're going to go over number four, the fear factor in greed. And then we're going to teach you on number five how to overcome negative emotions. Number six, we're going to talk about the positive emotions of trading, which are number seven, hope, and number eight, love. And then number nine, we're going to talk about experienced traders and how they deal with their emotions and the kind of things they do that make them win all the time. And then number 10 is I'm going to give you 6 tips to overcome your negative emotions and help you out in your future of trading. Number 1, identifying your trading emotions. Trading psychology is considered to impact and affect up to 95% of overall trading success. Let that soak in. Almost 100% of your overall success in trading is due to your emotional intelligence, to how you deal with emotions while trading. And we're going to go over that. Traders should ask themselves, am I an emotional person? You need to find out if you're an emotional person and what emotions are coming up while you're trading. You got to take a record of this. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to be able to change that to be successful at trading. This is a famous quote right here. I want you guys to think and dwell on this quote right here and imagine who made this quote. Always turn a negative situation into a positive situation. When I first seen this quote, I didn't have a picture. I didn't know who it was, but it really it sunk into me. It made so much sense. Always turn a negative situation into a positive situation. Now, I have a mentor. He actually wrote 5 different books for Donald Trump, and he told me that the one that stays positive the longest wins in life. His name is Marty Howe. But I was just looking at this, and I was trying to develop who came up with this famous quote. It had to be somebody that's a winner, because winners think like this. Always turn a negative situation into a positive situation. So let's see who it is. It was Michael Jordan. Always turn a negative situation into a positive situation. This is the man that came up with this quote, and it means so much to me still to this day. Think about what that means. Even when you lose, you're learning something. So never look at defeat or losing a trade as something that's bad. You need to look at everything as a learning situation that could be good for your future results. Number 2, negative emotions. Negative emotions can be described as any feeling which causes you to be miserable and sad. These emotions make you dislike yourself and others and reduce your confidence and self-esteem. And your general life satisfaction is hurt by this. These are the things that make you down in life, that make you feel bad about what's going on in your life, right? Some people end up getting depressed. Some people get anxiety because of negative emotions. So the number one emotion that we're going to talk about that's negative is greed. Greed affects all traders. Any way you like it, shape or form, it's going to affect how you trade. And everybody has a little bit of greed in them. It's an intense and selfish desire for something, especially wealth, power, or food. And then number 2 is fear. Fear is, it's in everybody. You cannot avoid fear. It's just, can you control the fear that you have? And all traders have fear, and they have to be able to control this by thinking in different aspects of their life. It's a feeling of anxiety concerning the outcome of something or the safety and well-being of somebody. The likelihood of something unwelcome happening. This is fear. We call this forget everything and run. F-E-A-R. Forget everything and run. So let's go over greed. Number 3, greed. Greed first is a deadly sin if you're into religion. Almost every religion calls this a deadly sin because it is basically the thought of yourself, being selfish, which is wrong because there's so many people in the world. We need to be other sinners. So it's a deadly sin. It's irrational. Greed is irrational. It's just you want to take, want more and more and more of everything. It's irrational because it's not sustainable. It won't work forever. It's unnecessary risk. In trading, it turns into unnecessary risk all the time, over and over again. You're going to get hurt if you have greed inside of your trade all the time. You're going to get hurt. Why? Because it's going to hurt you in the long run. You're not going to be able to have a game plan that works really good when you're focused on greed. So you need to identify if you have this greed in you. So if you have problems and people tell you, hey, you want too much of my time or everything's about you, you could have symptoms of greed. If you accumulate possessions all the time, if all you want to do is, work hard or have a business and all you're doing is just accumulating possessions, you're not giving anything back to anybody. You're not even taking care of your own family. You're just worried about yourself all the time. You want everything for you. And then it has to do with power. It has to do with you trying to accumulate power, more power than everybody that's around you. You always want to be the top dog. Even when you're the boss, you won't listen to anybody. You're always the number one person. You always think that what you say is best and that way that you do things is always best. This gets you trapped and you're not going to be able to grow. It's not going to help you with your growth. It's going to actually stunt your growth. All right. So overcoming greed it's kind of simple. Overcoming greed is first you got to acknowledge the behavior. You got to know that you're greedy. You got to look at it in your life and you got to say, yeah, I'm a little greedy. Right. Next thing is you have to change the behavior. Anytime you want to do something to get better results, you got to change that behavior. That's the only way. If you keep on doing stuff over and over and over again, you get the same results. It would be insane for you to think that things are going to change. Number 3 is you have to evaluate. You have to evaluate yourself. You have to test yourself over and over again. Are you showing the symptoms of greed? Is this action greedy? Is that action greedy? You're always evaluating yourself like you're a test, like you're basically like some, book that you're reading and you got to take a test at the end of, a week or at the end of a day or at the end of your trading session. Did you do that? Did you not do that? Right? And then you got to eliminate it. Whenever greed comes up and you evaluated it when it comes up, you got to change, which means you're going to have to eliminate that behavior. You're going to have to take that out. Every time that comes back up, you're going to have to get rid of it. Number 4 is fear. This is something really big. It's debilitating. Some people can't even move, can't even think when they're in a lot of fear. This is something that comes back to when, God first created us or whatever you believe happened when man became formed and there was a man on earth and a woman on earth. There was this fear of these animals killing us, cavemen and things like that. And this fear is still in us till this day. This is the same fear that debilitates us and makes us run away. Why? Out of fear of losing our life most of the time. Or out of the fear of, getting hurt and, having, less than 2 eyes or hurting your leg or hurting your arm and not being mobile. This is a debilitating thing I'm talking about, okay? It's present in most traders. Just going to be totally honest with you. Fear is going to be present in most traders. Now, it's least rational. It's so irrational to have this fear. It's like forget everything that you know and run the other way. It's unreality to have this type of fear in you. And I want to go over a couple of fears, but identifying. So nature, some people have fears of different things in nature. That could be, heights or something like that, or it could be, natural things, or it could be insects, or it could be dogs, it could be cats, it could be, you're scared of a little dog that can't hurt you, but you're scared of it for some reason. It's something that happened in your past that made you scared of it. Now, we should probably be a little scared of big dogs that could bite us and hurt us. We should be scared if we're somewhere high and it's not safe and we could fall. But it's not really good to be scared, of a plane ride. Which some people are scared of heights. I'm a little scared of heights, and I'm scared sometimes when the plane starts shaking. But you know that the plane usually lands, it takes off, it usually lands, right? There's more people that die from car crashes than airplane crashes. So it's not that rational to believe that. Phobias. Let's talk about phobias. Some people are, scared of spiders. There's a phobia for that. Scared of heights. There's a phobia for that. Scared of blood. They're scared to see blood. It's something natural that's inside of you, and they're scared to see that. So there's things that people should not really be scared of, but they're scared of: dogs, cats, insects, anything that you could think of, scared of your mom complaining or scared of this. It's not going to hurt you, but you just have a phobia of that happening, right? Anxiety. Anxiety is when you have so much fear that your life has to stop. Like you're in the middle of doing something and all of a sudden you cannot breathe and you just need to stop doing what you're doing because you have too much anxiety. Your stress is too high. That's what we're talking about right here, which is an irrational feeling where your body can get over these symptoms. But some people, they stay in these symptoms so long that it's like part of their lifestyle. They got to deal with anxiety. They got to take medicine for it. So anxiety is fear. It's built up fear from stress or, problems with the environment or problems with humans, problems with whatever you think of. It's just a problem where your brain has to stop because it's in so much fear. So how do you overcome it? The same way you overcome the first thing that we were talking about, greed. You got to first acknowledge the behavior that you have it. Then you got to change the behavior you have. And then you got to evaluate. You got to say, did I really change it, or am I still doing the same thing over and over again? And then once you figure out what it is you're doing and how to change it, then you just got to eliminate it. You got to take that part out and add something different into your life so you don't have this fear. All right. Overcoming negative emotions. Number 5 is you got to overcome greed to be a successful trader. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. You're not going to be very successful if you trade on greed. And you got to overcome fear, because fear will make you debilitated. It'll make you, fear of loss, where you'll jump in a trade because, you thought it was a good trade and it started going the right way. And you say, oh, I need to jump in right now. And you get a bad position, or you fear that you lost so much money. You need to get all your money back in one trade. So you put up all your money or half your money and you lose it all. This is what the kind of fear that will hurt you. Never use money you need. The first thing is to eliminate some fear and greed. You only use the money to trade that you have. It's like extra money. It's not your money to pay rent at the end of the month. It's not your money to pay the phone bill at the end of the day. You need to make some money right now to pay things. That's not going to work. All that's going to do is probably put you further in debt. All right. So you need to have extra money to trade. That's the number one thing. And when it's just extra money to you, you can learn lessons from it. You could actually lose and still be a happy person. But if you lose your rent money, if you lose the money that you were going to buy a house, or you take equity out of your house and you lose that, now you got to pay a bigger bill. You're going to be mad at yourself. You're going to, make relationships in your life, like your husband, your wife, your kids, your parents. They're going to start getting upset with you because you're taking what is not meant to trade and you're trading with it, which is not good. All right. And then emotional discipline versus intelligence. If trading was based off of how smart you are, the smartest people in the world, the top IQs would be the richest people in the world, because they would trade, they would push a button, and they would make a lot of money. But it's not like that. So the traders that are good is because they have emotional discipline, which equals emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, they say, if you read it in books and things like that, you'll find out that emotional intelligence is an indicator to how great your life will be, how financially free you can become, how time free you can become, which is the American dream. Emotional intelligence is what you need to learn. Read books about it, find out what it is, and get that kind of intelligence, because you can increase your emotional intelligence. You sure could. But some people, through reading and things like that, you got to do a lot of it. You can increase your intelligence, but the way that you react to things, how fast you do things, which is like a sign of your IQ, that's very hard to, boost up. But you can definitely boost up your emotional discipline by learning about trading, by taking the right kind of trades, by having your mindset the right kind of way. And that's what we're talking about right here, this emotional intelligence piece that is so key to being a phenomenal trader. Let's talk about the positive emotions. Number 6 is positive emotions. And this is what I focus on as a trader. I have the experience as a trader. I went through my highs and my lows. I went through all these emotions, the fear, and, the greed and things like that. And I'm conquering that still to this day. I'm still conquering it, but I got it 90% solved, where I'm not doing the same kind of things that were getting me in a hole. But positive emotions are just this: include pleasant or desirable situation responses, ranging from interest and contentment to love and joy, but are distinct from pleasurable sensations and undifferentiated positive effect. These emotions are markers of people's overall well-being or happiness, but they also enhance future growth and success. Makes you just like yourself and others, and it could reduce your confidence and self-esteem and general life satisfaction if you don't have these positive emotions. So positive emotions are very significant in your life. All right. Hope. Let's go over hope. Hope is the one that I really love. I take this out and I try to use this over and over again. A feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen, a person or thing that may help or save somebody. So hope. I remember President Obama of the past. He used hope to become the president. He overcome so many obstacles because his whole, sign, motto, everything was all about hope. So everybody took this hope and they said, man, hope we get a great world. Hope we get a great president. Hope this. And he actually won the election, which nobody really thought he would ever even, be in the presidential election in the first place, but let alone win the president election off of hope. And now it's all about the slogans that you see all the time. Anybody that's running for something always has some kind of slogan because it really worked for Obama. So hope is just this hope in the better future, and then love. Love is the number one emotion that you could have. It says in different religions that God is love, so our overall existence, the overall reason why we're here to some people is because of this thing called love. So some people never, feel love or never love other people, but it's a great feeling to have this love, a great interest and pleasure in something, like or enjoy very much. So it's when you're in this kind of hope that you have for the future, but then you have this love for the people that are going to be in your future, and you want to be great at trading because you want to love and help so many people. And that's the love, when you try to help other people, when you try to get things going for other people, that's when things get going for you. I believe that. So hope. Let's go over hope. Number 7 is hope. You're going to have to realize, this hope. You're going to have to visualize it, in the future. Inner pressure. It's an inner pressure to get things done for yourself or for other people around you. It's this hope of the future, but what do you have to do to get to that hope? There's things that you have to do. So there's an inner pressure that builds up inside of you because you have this hope. And then it's a motivator. Man, it motivates people so much that they go out there and get the future they want, right? They might have a year plan, 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, even a 3-month, 90-day game plan, which is a life changer. 90 days, you could change your whole life. It could be a day of hope, or it's just going to motivate you. Like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to trade and I'm going to win today. It's that motivator, that motivation that's going to change your life. And that's what we're talking about. Hope is that motivator that will change you. There's dangers though. There's dangers in hope. And I just want to put that out there, on the table so you guys can understand that hope, there's some dangers to it. And it gives you false security. Sometimes when you're so much, hope, it gives you a false security that you're going to win in trading, which is bad, because whenever you think you're going to definitely win, that's when people start leveraging more of their trading account. And that's not good, because when you got too much of your account out there, you're risking too much. You're going to lose eventually. And so it's never a guaranteed thing. You're always at an uncertainty of what the market's going to do. All right. Recoup. This can really hurt you. If you lose a little bit of money, you lose a couple of trades, you might say, hey, all I got to do is double up. All I got to do is triple up. All I got to do is 4 times up, and then I can get all the money back that I lost. Whenever you're thinking about the money you lost, and you're more worried about the money you lost than your goal of getting the money that you really think you need or want, that's when you're in this recoup mode. I got to get back to what I lost. I got to, win, because I had 1,000 in there. Now I'm down to 500. I got to get back up to 1,000. That's not a good way to be. That's actually a horrible trader. Horrible traders think in recoup mode all the time, right? Good traders are always thinking about the future profits that they're going to make. And so do not be in recoup mode. And then revenge. Revenge trading is just what we went over, 2-3 times. I'm going to have to revenge you. The broker took my money and I don't like this broker. No, look at the broker as your friend. The broker is giving you money. You know, when you were a little kid, your mom and dad used to give you money. They love you. That's how you look at these brokers. You say, man, I love these brokers. They're giving me money like my mom and my dad used to. They give me money like my good boss does. They give me money like I give myself because I'm a boss, right? So don't get into the revenge and you're hating and you're in those emotions like that. That's not going to work for you at all. Never do revenge trading, okay? When hope is great. Let's talk about when hope is great. You know, when will hope change my life? You know, you guys are asking me that, Professor, how can hope change my life? I hear what you're saying. Well, when you have a trading plan, the number one thing you need to have is a trading plan. You know, this is going to give you your risk factors. It's going to tell you how much to trade each time. It's going to show you how much you want to make. What percentage of your account do you want to make on a daily basis? When you set up this plan, you write down in journals, you have your goals that you want to do. You set up to get your goal. You get in the market, you get your goal, and you get out. You know, let's say you lose so much, then you get out the market that session, you get back in at a different time. You're not going to keep on losing, and you're not trying to keep on winning, right? You're setting in there in the middle somewhere. Trading strategy. Number 2 is you have to have a trading strategy. See, my strategy that I'm going to teach you guys as a professor is the bounce strategy. You know, this is something that I kind of took pieces from here and there. I didn't create the bounce strategy by myself. It's things that I took from other successful traders, but I added up stuff from this trader, that's another trader, and then I made it my own. Now it's my strategy. This bounce strategy is my strategy, you know, but I had to take it from other people. I had to watch other people get their strategy and then formulate my own strategy. Everybody can do that. Number 3 is you got to know how to read indicators. Indicators analysis is one of the number 1 keys to trading, because there's all these algorithms, all these computers come together to make this beautiful, beautiful display of statistics that we can use to win in trades. You know, it's talking about the past. Sometimes it'll show us the future. Sometimes it will show us the present. We take those factors, you know, and what I use is the 5, you know, number 1 indicators that are universal throughout all kind of trading. You know, and I took those, and those are the indicators I really look at. And then I take another indicator called the currency strength meter, and I use those 6 together to give me an assessment of everything that I'm going to do. Now, that's probably about 70% of my trading is done by using those indicators. And then everything else is just the strategy that I created off of this and things like that I do. But you have to know the indicators. If not, you're just going in there blinding, just pushing buttons. Okay, the daily market news. Now, this is a 4th thing. It's the least, in my opinion. But guess what? The 4th thing can mess up everything for you. That's why you got to know what the daily market and daily financial news is doing, because if you do not know, it doesn't matter how good your trading plan, how good your trading strategy, it doesn't matter how good you are at reading indicators. If something happens in the daily news to an economy and you're trading Forex, or if you're trading crypto or anything like that, if something's happening behind the scenes, then it doesn't matter if it's going up or going down. Anything can happen. It can pivot on you immediately out of nowhere. You won't even know, and you'll start losing out of nowhere. Sometimes the market goes backwards, and you got to trade backwards if you want to trade that day. Sometimes when the market is so backwards where the indicators are saying one thing and it does something totally different, sometimes I just don't trade on those sessions, right? If it's something in this government news that says, you know, the economy is messing up or anything like that, I might not even trade that about 4 hours, sometimes for 2 or 3 days. So you got to be careful on the daily market news. But one thing about the daily market news is it can help you out. If there's good things that are happening, you know, you can predict that it's going to go up. And that's a great thing when it goes up, because you know already in advance that everything's saying it's going to go up, and it goes up and you're right there. But sometimes you have to get in there and it does the opposite of what you say. I call that Michael Jackson moonwalking. Because Michael Jackson used to do a famous move called the moonwalk, where he would actually dance backwards. It looked like he was walking forward, but he was walking backwards. So it's like you usually walk forward, like the bounce trading technique, but sometimes you got a Michael Jackson moonwalk backwards to win trades. So if you guys want to learn about that, you can do that. But what I'm saying is it's better if you just stick with your strategy, stick with that every time, and don't change it up because the market's doing weird things, okay? Number 8 is love. Love is about your mindset. It's how you feel about people. It's how you feel about yourself. It's this deep conviction that I want things better for myself. I want things better for my family, better for my friends, better for my mentees that are learning how to trade from me. It's a mindset of positivity that you're always thinking about the best outcome, okay? It's a visualization practice. You're practicing visualizing your future. You know, how good can this future possibly be if I make $1 million trading? How good would it be if I made 10 million, if I made $1 billion? You're visualizing outcomes in the future that are predicated and predicted by what you're doing right now. You know, you're backwards mapping out your life according to how this trading is going to work for you. Now, you might start out with $1,000 in your account and you might not have any vision. You might say, well, I just want to make $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month, or $1,000 every 2 months because I only have 1,000 in here. But there's other people that will visualize and they'll compound their account every day and they'll say, man, you know, if I get 8% all my money a day in trading, right? In 30 sessions, I know that wherever I'm at, I'll have 10 times the amount of money that I had before. So it takes 30 days at 8% to have 10 times the amount that you had before. So if you start out with $1,000 and you got this master plan of getting 8% a day, in 30 days, you'll take that $1,000 to $10,000. In 30 more days, you'll take 10,000 to 100,000. At 100,000, you'll take, 30 more days, 10 times that is $1 million. So that's how people can get to $1 million just immediately, fast. In 90 days, you could change your life with trading. It's a positive perspective. Like I said before, you got to have a positive perspective on this love. It gives you this sense that, man, everything's going to be good, man. If you ever fell in love with somebody, you have this feeling to where you're saying, man, everything's going to work out. The first thing you want to do is get married to that person because you're like, man, everything's going to work out for the rest of my life. And you get rid of your insecurities, you get rid of your problems, and you say, this is the one. I'm going to marry this person because I have this positive perspective. That's what we're talking about here, right? There's dangers. There's dangers for people even like me. I'm so positive minded, man. But there's some dangers to being too positive, right? You lose your reality. You lose a sense of what's really going on in your life. You start, wearing these rose colored glasses. You think everything's going to be good. But guess what? Sometimes it doesn't always turn out good like that. All right. So it's loss of reality. Living in the future. Sometimes you're so in love with something, you live in the future. Instead of knowing that you only have $1,000 in your account to trade, you start thinking you got $1 million in your trade. You start, doing 1% of $1 million, which is $1,000. You start trading $1,000, but you only have 1,000. So living in the future in that instance is going to make you lose your account real quick. All right. When is love great? Let's talk about when love is great, because this is the part that I love. I don't really like the dangers and the pitfalls. I love to talk about what's great in life, and I'm so positive about it, right? Family supports you in trading. When you have somebody on your side in your family, your wife, your husband, your kids, your parents, when they say, man, I want you to win in trading. I support you. I want to help you. Whatever you need done, I'm going to do that for you. Number 2 is trading is beneficial financially. See, when trading is always taking your money and is never giving anything back to you, that's a bad thing. We have to sit down and we have to say we need to change our strategy, change our game plan. Whatever we have to do, we can't keep on burning out accounts. Now, I know people that made over $30 million right to this day in trading that burnt 10 accounts in the beginning of their career. So I'm not telling you just because you burn 10, 20 accounts doesn't mean that you don't keep on trading. What I'm saying is it needs to end up being beneficial for you financially. You need to get to the point where you're making money. Now, you don't have to take out your money in the beginning because you want to compound your money. I always tell people, if you get to you put in $1,000. You get to $10,000, and let's say you want to take out $2,000 every week. Well, that might be a good strategy for some people. They want to pay their bills. They want to make $8,000 a month. That's great. But if you would have kept that $10,000 in there till you got to $100,000, now you can actually take out $8,000 a week. Do you see the difference in the power of compounding your money? If you're at $1 million, you could take out $80,000 a week, and it wouldn't hurt your account. So it depends on how big you want to grow your account to how much you're going to live your financial freedom lifestyle. Number 3 is trading produces good dreams. I mean, when you trade and you can't sleep sometimes, or when you trade and you go to bed and you feel so happy and you wake up so energized, that's a great thing, and that's what we want for you. Love is great when trading produces good dreams for you. right? Trading is helping you achieve your goals. Is trading helping you achieve your goals? There's a lot of goals you can have. Is it helping you marry the person you want to marry? Is it helping you pay for your kids' education, private school? My kid goes to private school. So, I mean, is it helping you? My son just, he's going to Hawaii Pacific right now. Very expensive school. So is it going to help me pay his bills? Yes, it is. It's going to help me. Actually, my son is 18 now. He trades. He knows what he's doing. So, I mean, he can pay his own bills. These are the things that trading can produce if it's achieving your goals. Your goals are what? What is your goal? Why are you trading? You got to have a goal. You got to have a why, so you know what you are trading for, why you are trading with. This is what we're talking about here. All right. Okay, let's go over experienced traders. So number 9 is experienced traders, and I'm just going to drop some nuggets on you right here. Right? Experienced traders know how to handle their emotions. They know how to handle their emotions. They know how to get in a trade, get out of trade. They know what to feel in the trade. They write down how they're feeling on certain days. When they're too emotional, they don't even trade those days. There's been days where something, my daughter's birthday or something like that, my son graduated high school, I didn't trade that day. I was too emotional to trade. So I'm not going to do the right thing. You cannot be really emotional when you're trading. Don't trade out of greed. You can't trade out of greed anymore, You just got to erase that greed. You got to stop trading for the actual dollar amount. You got to trade for a percentage amount of your account. So you black out on the dollar and you focus on the percentage that you want and the percentage you're trading. You got to be aware that it's uncertainty in the market. You can't come in there and tell anybody it's going to happen. You're for sure. People are taking your trade ideas. I'm a mentor. I actually trade, and people take my trade ideas. I never tell them that I'm 100% sure this is going to happen. Now, even though for the last 6 weeks I was 90%, win rate, doesn't mean that I know for sure. I go in each trade or each session, I'm a little like, man, I hope that this happens again for us. I hope I get 90%, but there's going to be some days where you're not going to have 90%. That's 9 out of 10 trades you get right. That's not going to always happen. Never expect quick profits. Anybody gets in a trade and think it's a quick, rich scheme, it's not going to work for you. Now, you can get rich and wealthy over time for producing a compounded account that, you could take out a lot of money at the end of the road type deal. But in the beginning, whatever you put in, you're not thinking about taking out so much money. Even if you come in with $1 million, you're not just thinking about taking out money over and over and over and getting rich. Well, why? Because you're already rich if you put $1 million in there, and you know that you built up that $1 million, over time. So you're not going to come in here thinking like that. But some people that, they get $1,000, $100, they start thinking, oh, I'm going to make this amount of money. And no, some people, it takes them, with the $500. I know somebody that came, 14 months, they made their first $1 million. So sometimes it doesn't take 1, 2 months, 3 months. All right. The big difference is they take breaks. So after they make so many correct calls, they take breaks. They just don't trade all day long. Experienced traders don't trade all day long. They're not going to do it. That's just the facts of life. They practice wise risk management. They're only going to trade about 1 to 5% of their account at a time. Anything over that can take you down so quick, you don't want to go there. Prevention is better than a cure. So instead of trying to cure your losses or trying to cure that you're going to make a lot of money, is preventative measures. Like you make this amount of money and you stop that day. You lose this amount of money, you stop that. It's a prevention. It's never a cure. You have to remember that. So how do you overcome these negative emotions? You reduce your size of your trades. Like I said, 1 to 5% of a trade, your account size is good. Well, if you do 1%, you could lose 100 and you wipe out your account. 2%, you could lose 50 trades, you wipe out your account. 3, it goes on and on from there. At 5%, you can only lose 20 trades. If you do your thing at 10%, you can only lose 10 trades. If you do it at 100 every time, you can only lose 1 trade. That's why we say reduce. Keep a record or a journal close to you and write down how you feel. Write down what's going on. Write down when you started trading. Write down when you ended trading. Write down, how much you made on trading. This is all in the game plan that I'm going to give to you guys. All right. A blend of analysis. They're not going to just look at one indicator and say, woo, let's go. I'm going to go head over heels. It's one indicator. I'm going to do it. No, you're looking at 5, 6 indicators if you're a smart trader, if you're an experienced trader, and then you're going to choose a strategy. You have to have a strategy to be a winner in trading. You have to have that strategy. All right. And then you got to choose a plan. You have to have a plan. That's probably the most necessary thing, is to have the plan in the first place, because it says that a man fails every time he doesn't plan. Or it says that if you don't plan, then you plan to fail. This is deep quotes. All right, let's talk about this. And this is the last part I'm going to talk about in this session. This is the 6 tips to overcome negative emotions. Number 1 is learn more about your fear. Learn more about your greed. Learn more about yourself so you know who you are and know what kind of things stumble you up, and then don't get stumbled up by it. Number 2, use your imagination in positive ways. Stop going into a trade thinking bad or thinking it's going to go the wrong way. When you're in a trade, think positive about it. Before you take a trade, think positive about it. Don't be so scared saying, oh, I can't lose this and then. No, you just think you're going to win. And if you lose, then you learn a lesson. Number 3, use your brain in a different way than usual. Stop using your brain the same way, getting the same results. Use your brain different. Expand your mind. Read about it. Watch videos. Learn more about trading so you can learn to use your brain like experienced traders. Number 4 is focus on your breathing. You have to breathe before you start trading. You got to breathe throughout trading, else you will produce anxiety and depression. Now, breathing should be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how much air you should breathe in for your brain to get enough oxygen in the beginning. Now, every time you're not going to breathe that deep, but when you start trading, you need to take about 5 to 10 deep breaths to where you feel it at the top of your stomach. You feel your lungs filling that area up. That's how much you have to breathe. It's 5 seconds. I'm going to go over right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody take a deep breath in. I'm going to do it right now. You can hold that air in there or breathe it right out. But it's that long. And then you just breathe it out. Everybody needs to know how to breathe because your brain needs oxygen. And most people don't get enough oxygen in their brain, so they don't really use most of their brain capacity. We can only use about 10% of our brain anyways. So don't you want to use a whole 10%? If you think about it, if you're not breathing right, you could be at 7 to 8% of your brain capacity, maybe 5. And sometimes you'll have like this clouded brain. You don't know what to do. You'll forget what you're doing. Don't do that. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is to practice good situations in your mind. It's a way to visualize good things happening. Good things happen in the future. Good things happening right now. It's this mindfulness of everything that's going on around you in the world, and you're practicing on how to develop that mindfulness to always keep yourself in a positive environment in your brain. Use nature as your therapist. So they call me the beach trader, your professor. That's my name. You guys will see a lot about me out there if you put in the beach trader, but I love to trade at the beach. Why? Because it's nature. I love the sound of water. I love the way that my feet hit the sand. I love that sunshine out there in San Diego. That's where I'm at. San Diego, California is the most beautiful weather in the world. Just to be honest with you, look it up yourself if you don't believe me. But you go out to the beach, you sit there, and, I might have a hammock. I might sit in a chair. I might stand up, and I could trade on my phone, on a tablet, on my, laptop that has Wi-Fi connected to it. So this is what you want. Some people are going to go out to the forest. Some people want to go to a park. Some people, it's just being out there and looking at the environment. Sometimes you don't need to just trade in your room. Sometimes if I do trade in my room, I have a 65-inch TV. I'll put on some nature. I'll put on creatures swimming in the ocean or animals out in Africa or Madagascar or, the rainforest of Brazil, Amazon, stuff like that. I'll look at this place in Greece called Shipwreck Island, and it will just fill me up with these good sensations of just beautiful imagery that God created. And that will set you straight, and you'll be in a positive mood because you'll be so grateful for what was created. And this is something that's created that you can enjoy. So I just want to tell you guys, thank you guys for listening to this right here. I want you guys to learn so much. Watch this over and over again because 95% of all trading success comes down to how you're dealing with your emotions and how you're living your life inside of these things that I was just telling you. So remember, negative emotions you want to get rid of are greed and fear. Positive emotions you want to add to you is to be in love, okay, and to be in hope. When you're in hope and love, those are the most positive things that you could do. There's other emotions out there. You guys can read about them. But I wanted to make this very simple 1, 2, 3, 4 lesson for you guys to get you guys kickstarted in the right way. So you guys are going to learn after this. But this is the basics of your emotional well-being and trading. You guys have a great day. This is the Beach Trader again. I want you guys to all be phenomenal traders. And let's win together. God bless everyone.